Welcome to another edition. Welcome to another edition of the Mexican Soccer Show. I'm Wiso from FootMexSource.com. Sorry, a little rough start right there, but nevertheless, it's Monday. That means Mexican soccer talk here on this awesome show. We have no more Monday Night Football, no more sports on Monday nights, where you can just obviously focus on Liga MX and all the Europeo talk with these guys, these experts. Let's meet them right now. Tom, Cesar, and Naive are with us today. Start with Cesar. Cesar, how was your weekend? Chivas won, so I'm sure you're happy.
I'm in a good mood. I usually try not to bring up too much about the fact that I'm a Chivas fan. Actually, I'll get into this later. I actually showed up late to the game because I wasn't really expecting anything. There was a clam chowder fest, and I thought on my list of things that were important to me at that point, I was like, you know what, clam chowder, that's just slightly better than Chivas at this point.
Especially where you're from. Awesome clam chowder in the Bay Area, of course.
Yeah. I ended up watching. I missed the first 6 minutes, but I ended up watching the game. But we'll discuss that later. But since then, I've been great mood. Chivas won, and I had a ridiculous amount of beer and clam chowder in my belly all weekend. So I'm happy.
Very nice. Tom doesn't like clam chowder. We're in San Francisco, and he he said he didn't want to try even clam chowder. It didn't sound good to him, but we'll get to that story some other time. Joining us from Houston, obviously, Naive Moran. Naive, how are you?
Good, Wiso. Good to have you back. Good to talk with Cesar and Tom. It was a good week in Liga MX. There was all wins. There was no ties. Giovani got an assist and with Villarreal. If we go a little bit more back, last week, Herrera got a good tie with Porto in Champions League. And we'll see what happens this week with the Europeos in their respective leagues.
Yeah, obviously, a lot of action and a lot of news going on in the Europeos every week. Thank you, Naive. And then, obviously, Tom Marshall, how's it going, Tom, in Guadalajara? Did you get a chance to go to the game? Wait, never mind. It wasn't.
I went to Leones Negros.
That's right. But, one of the games in Guadalajara.
And I obviously enjoyed the old Copa Libertadores on Tuesday with Atlas with your very self.
Yes, fun times. I got a chance to go down to Mexico, stay with Tom, and we got a chance to go to the Atlas Santa Fe match that happened on Tuesday nights, which was a 1-0 loss. Fun times, obviously. Thank you so much, Tom, for hosting me and me going down there. But it was fun times. Right, well, I'm glad to be back. I've been on for 3 weeks or so on scheduling issues, but now I am back and ready for my action. I didn't get a chance to visit. Thank you. Thank you, Cesar, for taking over the hosting jobs and duties. And it was definitely an awesome show.
It's much more difficult than I assumed it would be. I have to I have to keep the momentum of the show, and sometimes feel a little awkward. And I don't know, you're doing a great job, so don't ever leave ever again.
All right, well, nice. You can never leave any Monday. Make sure I'm back. Yes, I got a chance to visit, obviously, Leon, and be there, and we're obviously my home team, as you can see, and got a chance to get that new jersey I wanted. That it was ridiculously expensive over the internet, but I was able to go down at Plaza de Calzado and buy one from the Pirma store. So all the Leon fans, all two of us out there that are wearing the shirts on the internet, so very good. But let's get down to the show right away. We have a lot to talk about, including, obviously, the Queretaro news. Nacho Ambriz is gone, and it's looking to see that Vucetich, I think it's finally confirmed, that Vucetich is now part of the staff. We're going to talk a little bit about what's happening, obviously, in Queretaro, Ronaldinho, stomach pains or not, and obviously what's going to happen. Lots of happening with the two big teams in Mexico. Obviously, Chivas, one of them with the surprise 2-1 score, and America and Liga MX. And then we'll finish off with the Europeos, with what's going on with, obviously, Giovani dos Santos, the playing time, and a little bit of drama on Twitter world and Instagram with Aquino, that Naive Moran obviously will give us his updates, and we will have the show from there. Sounds like a fun show, right, guys?
Maybe.
Yes, maybe. It all depends. Just a reminder, you can follow us on the link. We've been tweeting it out for you guys to see on YouTube, on the chat. We already have a lot of people joining us, 15 watching right now, and are parts of the, obviously, chats from Javier, Jake, Joel, Mr. Joel, and Fabio, Andres Villanueva, all of us that are there.
And some guy named Jonathan Rico. Not sure who that guy is.
Yeah. There you go. Johnny Rico is actually on there, so you can definitely ask any questions at any time. If you have any questions, you could definitely get on the chat and ask us. We'll try our best to answer them. We have some of them already where we will be choosing to answer, because if they're too hard, well, we might not get to them because we might not know the answer. But let's go right in. Let's go and talk about what's the big news today. Everyone talking about Querétaro. Obviously, Nacho Ambriz is gone, and looking into why obviously the resultados aren't there and what's happening. But more interesting, the drama that surrounds it. This morning was kind of reported that Nacho Ambriz had a little fallout with the owners in Querétaro, kind of saying that, you know what, why wasn't Ronaldinho in the lineup? And a big phrase, kind of a dramatic phrase over the weekend is, do you want, obviously, results, or do you want ticket sales? I'll go over to you, Tom, obviously close to there. What do you hear in the news? What do you think, obviously, coming in with Vucetich, Mr. Midas himself, can he actually get them in? A key note, when Ronaldinho was hired, obviously last season, they were ready to go to the playoffs. They didn't make it, and now look at where they're at. Doesn't look good for Querétaro, obviously, with Nacho Ambriz being fired. But now Vucetich, after a year later, after all the drama with El Tri, is now back. What are your thoughts, Tom?
No, I mean, I think, Nacho Ambriz, what was it, one win all season. He's got one point, out of the last 5 games for Querétaro. There's always a risk bringing Ronaldinho in, especially to a club like Querétaro that has never really been, to be honest, that famous. I mean, it's never won a league title, so it was always going to kind of upset the kind of balance within the club, and it seems like that's what's happened. It seems like the team lost its, hard-working, grinding work ethic under that Ambriz had kind of instilled into the team when Ronaldinho called up. Obviously, when Ronaldinho signed, obviously Camilo Sanveso, his injury at the start of the season was just a massive blow as well for them. And Vucetich, I mean, really, I think it's absolutely perfect for all concerned. I think that Querétaro are going to get somebody who just is as big a guarantee of success as you get in the Mexican game. Everywhere he's gone, he's won so many titles with Monterrey. Obviously, King Midas is known as, so he's got that touch. But at the end of the day, he's a very good manager. He's very calm. He's very experienced. He'll get in there. He'll take his time in sorting it out. And from his point of view, Querétaro are a team that have money, so I think he'll be thinking, he's got a big chance now to get this team going and get him kind of, fighting for the championship, which is what Ronaldinho said when he came. He wants to win a title. He said that he'd won a title wherever he's gone, which isn't actually true, because he never won anything with Paris Saint-Germain. But that's I think it's very good for him. And Ambriz was a victim of the results. I mean, the 15th in the league, and that's clearly not good enough.
I think that's a big question, though, is whether he'll be able to change Ronaldinho. And I think that's going to be very, very, very difficult for Vucetich. Even though he's won multiple titles with, like you said, with Monterrey, and I believe he did well with, I think it was Pachuca. But if he's going to be able, to convince this guy who apparently had, stomach problems, last week, and see if he can get him participating once again, see if he can even get him, once again to want to run during practices.
Yeah.
And I think that's definitely the big question right now, because as we've mentioned before, it seems like Ronaldinho, even though he does fill up the seats, it seems like almost like a weight for Querétaro to carry. And maybe Sanvenso last year was able to push forth and get some goals for Querétaro, but now that he's gone, it's going to be interesting to see, once Vucetich does come in, to see what effect he has on the team.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think that Ronaldinho won't be there by the start of next season.
Yeah.
I just don't think he will be. I think that's how they'll get around it, and they'll reinvest that money in big players, and maybe ones that aren't as big a names, but that are, more in the prime.
No, and I think just to point quick on they brought Pato Rubio from Chile. It was a goal scorer in the league over there in Chile. And, I think it's taken him time to adapt a little bit. But, the game against Monterrey won that much, 2-1. But I think Querétaro did more. I think, it was pretty unlucky that Querétaro wasn't able to put the ball in the net. It was a great goal from Orbelín Pineda, who's a youngster from Querétaro and is getting good minutes in the first team. Querétaro has a project. I think they want to build more youth players in their team. They brought Ronaldinho just to be on the map. it seems that it's not working by the looks of it. But I think it's a team that has a lot of money, and I think that will definitely help Vucetich's time over there.
Yeah. Back to what you were saying, Tom. Obviously, Ronaldinho. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Finishing this season and then finding a place out. Seeing him maybe Qatar, maybe in an MLS after this. Definitely the MLS, and we're going in that. But
I don't think, just quickly, sorry, but I don't think MLS. He's got to play better. I mean, I don't think MLS. They know the investment. They're smart. They'll do the numbers. They'll run the numbers. And obviously he'll sell tickets.
You roll numbers. Just need to go on his Instagram. He didn't run any numbers.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think MLS. I don't think they would go for him at this point. No. What do you reckon? No.
Yeah, I think it'll be. I don't know. I think not to say it, but I think MLS would be perfect for him. I think he would want to go. I think he'll even lower his number of what he's getting. What is it? 2 million. That's what.
Yeah.
I mean, in Queretaro. I mean, he's not even the highest paid in Mexico. I think he'll take him for fairly cheap, and to see that people don't even remember a year that Ronaldinho had here, especially American fans. Querétaro, going into it. I mean, I could see him in a bigger club in the MLS or going back, but I don't think he's going to switch. I don't think he's going to go in Europe or anything like that. And the guy still has marketability, regardless of a smaller league. He'll still find it. But who knows? It was a surprise when we got that news. I think we were all together in San Francisco when we first heard that, and then now. We're seeing that he could go to another club in Mexico, or he could find another, and it wouldn't surprise me. You know what? That's right, especially what's happening with Ronaldinho. So, but yeah, let's Chivas. I mean, it's just there's a transition.
And Chivas.
Oh, that's right, Chivo. By the way, thank you to Joel for making fun of my shirt, saying that it looks like a NASCAR shirt.
It needs to be more sponsors.
Hey, we got the Mexican show sponsorship right here, so we're gonna try to get that for the Leon. All right, let's talk about Chivas. And obviously the big win, man. I'm watching the match, and I had to get ready to go to another live event here in Phoenix that we don't talk about. It's hockey. I got invited to a hockey game. Yeah, exactly. What's that? And just got a chance to leave. I look at it. You know what? I'm not going to miss much. 1-0. I leave and I look at Twitter, and it's 2-1. On what happened with a golazo from Fabian is what I saw. I'm kind of watching it there on my phone during a hockey game, looking at the game. But your reaction, guys. Obviously, you're there in Guadalajara, Tom, but Cesar, you've said that you're a fan in what's going on. So tell us, where did this come out of, especially at the end, with Chivas coming back and winning 2-1. A huge win. 8 years since they've won on the road, beating Cruz Azul, and it's a very much needed win. Huge confidence boost because not only that, Veracruz and also Puebla did win this weekend, which would have been huge on the relegation, I think. But Cesar, your reactions?
I mean, it's a massive surprise, isn't it? That was, as I mentioned, I like Chivas. It's one of those things where it's almost like it wasn't even my choice to like Chivas. Like I just kind of the earliest memories I have of my life. There's tiny baby Chivas jerseys and Chivas posters growing up, so I had no decision in this. I had no need. I saw that they were gonna play Cruz Azul, and like everybody else said, I was expecting a 0-0, and I was even making jokes online. So with Jason, I was like, I don't know how you could get any less than a 0-0, but if you could get any less than 0, somehow negative 1 to -1, that's what I would have predicted for the scoreline. But I don't. It was surprising. Maybe it was Carlos Fierro coming into the second half. He really added a lot of inspiration. He put a lot of pressure on Cruz Azul at the end. And I think, it's understandable from Cruz Azul's end that it was completely surprising that Chivas really did come back within those last few minutes. Something that's the last team I would have ever expected to be pushing for a win. After they scored the game-tying goal, they continued to push. And it was ridiculous to watch because it didn't look like Chivas at all whatsoever. That didn't look like a Chivas side at all. But it was, I think with the Fabian goal, there was, and a few of us have mentioned it, I think there were the wall. Maybe it was too small. Maybe they shouldn't have split. in the middle right there and let the ball go through. I know I know Johnny kept saying that that Corona should have dived some more, but I don't think Corona could have dived any more than he had at that point. But it was ridiculous, wasn't it? And I was just in complete shock after the guy. I didn't know what to say after that second goal. I genuinely think it'll be like a watershed moment for Chivas. I think they will find a ridiculous amount of inspiration from this, and I think a lot of their fans will support the team as well. And hopefully this won't be. Hopefully this isn't some fluke. Hopefully this wasn't something that just happened, by chance. But I think it'll be very, very important for them.
And at what point can we start praising Chepo de la Torre, guys? I mean, come on, right? Right? I mean, that's why
that might be another few more weeks.
Go ahead, Naive.
I mean, I think the win itself was, surprising. I think having two strikers was helpful, especially since the Chep idea is sending the crosses into the box, and then you have Bravo and the Nigris, the towering header that the Nigris had. But also Cruz Azul in the first half, I think missed some chances to take advantage of the good rhythm that was offered by Jerry Flores and Alemão. Alemão is not Roque Santa Cruz, and I think Alemão has done what he's been able to do as best as he could, but I think Cruz Azul would be a better team with Roque as its main forward. And then with Chivas, I'm still a little bit more prudent with it. I mean, the centers into the box, if there's better coverage on the Nigris, there's better coverage on Marco Fabian, which is, I think, the guy that was really all over the place and giving the idea to Chivas, the surprising factor. It's not that rocket science to kind of figure out how Chepo plays. So, I mean, little by little, it's an important game next week against Rayados and Turco Mohamed. Yeah. And we'll see if in fact this is a good wake-up call from the team.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And definitely, I mean, when you talk about Cruz Azul, looking what it is, Alemão got a little note. 80% of all the goals come from Alemão, doing great, especially when Roque Santa Cruz is coming back. When is he expected to come back?
Soon, I think. I think he was in the running this weekend, and I think he was supposed to play this weekend, and a couple of days before he told the press that he couldn't. But I mean, he started the first 2 weeks. He was brilliant. I mean, he really was good, and I think they need him back, Cruz Azul.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at those moves coming back from Alemão, I mean, amazing. I think I saw just an excellent play, and it'll be exciting to see him come back. Tom, really quickly on Chivas, obviously in Guadalajara, what's going on in the press? How is that win? Did you get a chance to talk, obviously, down there on the win, how huge it was and the confidence booster for them?
Yeah, I mean, it's year of the goat, isn't it? Chinese year of the goat has just kicked in.
That's right.
I think that's pretty much why they won. I mean,
That's the only reason why they won.
No, I'm with Naive. I think and Cesar, when he said about Fierro, I think that they went for it. I mean, they went for it, and I thought that it gave a template moving forward. Let's see, they'll do it. I doubt they're going to do it. I think Chivas, you look at the squad, they're better attacking team, and Chepo refuses to do that. He had a quote the other week, and he said, if you don't concede a goal, you're guaranteed a point, and you can possibly get 3. And I think that just sums up Chepo this season at Genius. Yeah. one for the gravestone.
Very Mourinho, don't you think? Like, looking at Mourinho's logic, I like it. It's Mourinho Mexicano, Chepo de la Torre. But he loses. Doesn't win. Sorry, go ahead, Tom.
No, yeah, I mean, and I thought that last 30 minutes they really went for it. They kind of let the shackles off the team, and they looked like a genuinely exciting team. Yeah. It was I think it was the best Chivas performance since 2012 when they went to the Azteca and beat America the last time. I mean, it's been that long since we've had like a Chivas game that has genuinely excited people.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked like it went back and forth. Great start by Chivas, and then obviously that a goal, but then towards the end, after I left and watching it, but I was very, very good. Let's talk about anything else on the Chivas, looking at obviously the next schedules. I kept saying it. I think it's safe to say from what Leones Negros is looking at, they cannot get a win. They have no offense. I don't see Leones Negros. I see them in the relegation pretty much taking it already, unless somehow they get a win. They're going to the F. Obviously Mexico City in the next coming weeks, I don't see him get any more points. But can we say already, I mean, with that Chivas win and looking at it, is it anything can happen, but it's pretty much looking like Leones Negros is going down.
Yeah, and their next two games, it's America and then they play Tigres afterwards, so it's going to be a tough next couple of weeks for them.
Yeah. I think they've got 10 games left, and I think they need about minimum, I think it's 16 points from 10 games. So what's that? That's five wins.
Yeah.
I can't see them winning 5 games. Simple as that.
Simple. That. Any other scores around the league with America obviously winning? Looking at the top of the league, Xolos and America not playing the greatest of football, but being number 1 and 2 right there, and obviously facing each other coming up week. Morelia pretty much says, you know what, Leones Negros, we want to be down there, so if, we'll take that spot if you don't want it, because on the way they're playing. And then obviously Leon losing to the little brother Pachuca in a 2-1. Anything else that kind of stuck out for you guys in around the Liga MX?
I mean, just Cardona's goal for Monterrey. I mean, there's some great goals this weekend, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It was definitely a good weekend for all those excellent stuff. Eric Gutierrez had an excellent goal as well. But yeah, that's what stood out to me the most was, like I said, all those fantastic goals.
I think Morelia changed. Tenor got fired, and now it's I think it's the 6th coach now in since the start of 2014.
Yeah, I think it's 13 coaches in it's ridiculous when Morelia coaches. I think everybody makes fun of Chivas and all the coaching changes, but Morelia's got I think even more. I hate that little something weird. Tena and also Nacho Ambriz. I mean, we're looking at of these coaches being fired. I don't want to bring out the conversation, but Aguirre's coaching staff in the World Cup looks like their coaches have been fired. And from what's happening also, with what's going on with Aguirre, Nayib, I know you're smiling. Any correlation, it's kind of get rid of those coaching staff if something might happen. I don't know.
No. I think it's just pure coincidence, with the cases that Aguirre has in Spain and he has to declare and so forth. He got fired at the Japanese national team as well. It's a story that's a little bit murky. I mean, it's hard to tell based on the results of those games, the Levante Zaragoza match and then the Español Osasuna match, and we'll see what the new developments are. But it's pure coincidence. But it's a good point you brought up. I didn't see it coming with Nacho out and also Furiatena out at the same time.
I mean, it's just kind of funny how we see those two and helping Vasco Rodriguez and what he's happening. So we'll kind of keep following that on what's going on. Maybe they want to wash their hands and be like, you know what, we don't want any controversy. Let's get them out now. And they have bad results. So we'll keep going. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about the Europeos and obviously let's go into the Concachampions because it's happening this week and talking about that. Tom, I know that obviously you were following that in the Concachampions. Like I remember, I was in having so many Costa Rican teams, 3 there, Canadian team, and 2 Mexican teams, and also the U.S. Right? What's the team from the U.S. from Concacaf?
DC United, and I think Montreal. Yeah, from MLS. Impact. Well, yeah,
that's starting tomorrow. What can you tell us? What can we look forward to? Obviously. Will it be another Mexican team looking at the 2 teams that are there?
I mean, I think the thing that stands out for me in terms of the Mexican teams, obviously we saw just before we started, you were mentioning, Costa Rica. There's a real buzz down there because on the international stage they've started doing really well, it seems, in the last couple of years. But I think from the Mexican point of view and a personal point of view, I think if you were to pick 2 teams from Mexico, to represent the country in an international tournament right now, they would be, for me, Pachuca and America. I think they both play exceptional football. I think they both like to go forward and play kind of on the front foot. Pachuca especially, all the young players, Lozano, Dam, Gutierrez, Pizarro, just a wealth of young Mexican talent mixed in with the kind of experience like IOV and Aquivaldo, Conejo Perez, I don't know. I think it's an exciting Pachuca team against Montreal Impact coming up on Tuesday. I think Montreal are going to struggle. Obviously, they're not in the season. Pachuca under Diego Alonso are now starting to get it together. But I think that Pachuca are a really strong side. the other side of the Mexican two teams there is America, and America, I think, for me, are the best team in Concacaf right now. I mean, they're just so strong. The money they put into the club with, buying Oribe Peralta, Benedetto, Darwin Quintero, Pellerano, just an unbelievable amount of talent that there is in the club. And Gustavo Matosas, after coming in over the winter to take over, I mean, he seems to have really got them playing. And I thought the game against Pumas on Sunday, it was a 1-0 victory. I thought he kind of tamed the attacking kind of intent of the team, but at the end of the day, it was more pragmatic and they got the results. So, and I think that America especially, I think Pachuca as well, because they're owned by Slim and they've got a lot of money, but I think America especially, I think we're seeing an almost mini golden period in the club's history. I mean, 2 titles in the last 2 years, 3 finals, and I think they'll be absolutely desperate this season, America, to win the Concacaf Champions League and go to the Club World Cup. I mean, you've got a manager in Matosas who's talked about going to Europe, and you've got, I think, such a strong America team right now that I think they'll be desperate to win this competition, and they kick off on Wednesday with a really difficult game away at Saprissa. Yeah. So yeah, that's my little few thoughts.
No, definitely. And what I was telling you guys, I got a chance to go to Costa Rica over the winter break. Costa Rica is looking at the championship, at the Concacaf Champions, this tournament as the tournament to win. Obviously, the tournament to win, because having the 3 strongest sides, La Liga, Heredia, and also Saprissa, that game in the Ricardo Saprissa on Wednesday for America, I think it's going to be one of the most difficult games. Saprissa is just getting done winning their campeonato over the last break, being the historic team to have the most wins and the Torneo Cortos and also the torneos in the history. So, and obviously, and having a great team and beating Herediano in that Champions. So I think it's going to be tough. They're looking at it. They're looking like another World Cup for them, because finally having those players that are there and the coachings that are there. So I think it's going to be a very difficult. If America is going in, kind of get a win, I think it's going to be the same atmosphere when Mexico goes in there, because of the level of teams that they have right now and because they're doing so well. Right now, Costa Rica is elevated, saying that they're the champs. They represent this part of the world as being the strongest team, obviously, from the World Cup, and they want the teams to represent that. So I think it's going to be exciting. And I'm looking to hopefully, obviously, we're getting America getting a win in the Ricardo Saprissa, but I think it's going to be very, very tough.
I think an interesting thing too is Pachuca has won it before in the past, and I think if they do make it to the Club World Cup, a lot of those young players should be pretty excited about that opportunity, because take for example, like Teatito, when he played with back in the 2012 World Cup, like that's when he was kind of discovered, is when he was playing in the Club World Cup, and there's got to be some players looking at that tournament, like some of the younger guys from Pachuca, and thinking we have a decent chance at winning this tournament, and then they can get a potential amount of huge amount of recognition from the world by taking part in the Club World Cup. So I think there's got to be some inspiration for the younger players as well to win that tournament.
Yeah, and with America, just quick, I mean, we'll see if Matosas rests some players. I mean, Darwin Quintero hasn't played in the last 2 games, so he probably could play in this CONCACAF Champions match. I read somewhere from Jonathan Peña from Diario Record that Benedetto might not make the trip to Costa Rica, and Benedetto has been probably America's best forward, in the league. Also, Jurgen Klinsmann has been in Pachuca since Pachuca-León game, and he will also be president in the Pachuca-Montreal Impact game. So, I mean, I don't know, he likes the Pachucas, is probably the team right now that's producing good Mexican young talent, not that much U.S. men's national team, but some people say that he went to see William Yarborough on last weekend, so I'm going to check that out.
I was making the bad joke. He was only there because he heard there's some guy named Jurgen playing, and then just So.
I don't see from being in León and talking to a lot of, I don't see William Yarborough playing. Look, he's looking for that national team, the Mexican national team. And got a chance to talk to some of the media and kind of asking him there. They kind of asked me, so what do you see here from William Yarborough? I'm like, nothing in the U.S. I don't see anything. But I would be really surprising if Jurgen, was there for Yarborough. Obviously, it's the physicalness and he is there, but I think he's full on wants to be part of the Mexican national team because he's here. I think we've heard that he's in the eye of Piojo Herrera. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I mean, I've chatted to him a couple of times, and I don't know. I think he's like a few of the Mexican players. I mean, Ventura Alvarado. A lot of talk around the America centre backs playing very well. From your neck of the woods, there we saw in
Yeah.
Phoenix, and you know, through my covering the Americans in Mexico for MLS. I mean, I think both of them, to be honest, are like I like many players that I've spoke to before who have dual nationals. I think that at the end of the day, they might well have a preference. They might well prefer one over the other in the heart, but they're going to go with whoever calls them first. And the only problem is going to be if two call-ups come at the same time. If the US come in for Yabra and Klinsman's spoken to him and said, look, you're 24, 25 years old. Look at Tim Howard this age, Guzan's this age. You can be that keeper. That's an exciting opportunity. I mean, US are going to be at the next couple of World Cups. I don't think there's much doubt about that. And then you look at the Mexican side, and I think it's more than I want to play for this. Sometimes I think these players are quite calculating. They look at the competition, and they're going to look at the Mexico side, and Ochoa looks like the next few years definitely. And then what's next? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that both of these are very, very interesting, and I think especially because Mexico have got so many games coming up with the Copa America and Gold Cup. I mean, he's going to call up 6 goalkeepers.
Yeah.
So you write a list of your top 6 goalkeepers, and Yabra's not far off that list if he's not on it.
I think, and that's what I was saying. I think if Ventura Alvarado, I could see him play for the U.S. There's no doubt. I think I'm looking at that, especially with the backline that the U.S. has. I honestly think that it would be a good, being the Phoenix native, being part of that, obviously moving down there and what he's doing. I can see that. On the Yarbrough piece, from being close to loan, I just feel like since there has been talks with Piojo, I don't think Piojo, we mentioned Ventura Alvarado's name at all in the Mexican national team, but it's already been linking up Yarbrough from the great season he had, not such as great, ending a great season last year, and then still having those key moments. I think, especially like you said, 6 keepers that are needed. I'm pretty sure to bet that we're going to see him in the national team somehow, and I think those talks are already in there, looking at it. But you said it with just with what's his face from Cholos, and now with Chivas, his son. We had in the last.
Fernando Arce.
Fernando Arce.
Yeah, Fernando Arce. I mean, that was a totally different, player. There was no way that he was even in the eye of Mexican national team when the U.S. called him up. It was like, yeah, I picked, the U.S. and it's going in there. So I think that's where you get that, Thompson, and we see that a lot. And I think we're going to be hearing that a lot more, especially with the guys that are coming through. But yeah. All right, we kind of went a little bit past what we were talking, especially with the Klinsmann talk, but we'll kind of coming back. Yeah, it'd be exciting to see as we like to almost say, the Concacaf, and it comes out naturally, but the Concacaf league, I think it's going to be an exciting time because we have some rivalry there, I feel, with Costa Rica, so I think that's going to be fun. But anything else, obviously, Libertadores, Tom, me and you got a chance to go to that game. The Atlas, the only, I thought, hope that we have in the Libertadores for Mexico, but I mean, it looks like we're just not, and I got a chance to sit down and talk to some of the fans, very big, heavy Atlas fans. I mean, I'm talking these guys have had years of following the team, and they're just, it looks like they want to be part of this Libertadores. The fans want it, but the coaching and the players, there's just no, I don't know, they don't give it out. I felt like that Santa Fe game we could have won, Atlas could have won, but it just doesn't show how Mexican teams don't want to be part of the Libertadores.
I don't know. I'm not sure it's not wanting to be part of it. I thought they were naive again. There's another example of a Mexican team going to, playing against a South American team and just being naive. I mean, I thought Atlas dominated the game. I mean, I really did. But Santa Fe were so intelligent. Like 2 banks of 4, with one number 10, number 9. Little space between the lines, kept it as tight as possible, especially in the first half. They know they've had a long journey. They know they're going to be tired. So what do? They conserve energy that first half. They keep it as tight as they possibly can, and they wait for Atlas to get frustrate themselves in a way. And that's what Atlas did in the second half. And it was very, very frustrating because I mean they should have won that game. And the history of the Libertadores, I mean, I think more than, I don't know. You have to do the maths, but I once worked out like percentage of home wins over the last couple of years in the Libertadores, and you don't get anywhere in the Libertadores if you don't win at home. I mean, that applies across the continent. You just don't get anywhere. It's like an unwritten rule. So those are the kind of games you have to win, and Atlas messed it up. Thomas Boy, there was shouts of "Fuera Boy," and I think again on Friday against Santos Laguna, I think his job was on the line then. I mean, Atlas, at the end of the quarter-final, and there was a lot of talk that he was going to, Matosas, they were having a little look at Matosas, see if they could somehow get in there for him, and other names were mentioned, like Vucitic and stuff, and at the end of the day, I don't think they're good enough going forward, Atlas. I think they've got possibly the best midfield in the Mexican game, but I think going forward, you've got Keno, who's from the Brazilian second division, you've got Barragan, who's from the Fuerzas Básicas, he's not a bad player, he's a hard worker, but he's not proven. And then on the left, you've got, who is it now? You've got Caballero, the Paraguayan. And I don't know, as a front three, compare that to America or compare that to Pachuca or the top teams in Mexico, and for me, that's not good enough. And I think that's where Atlas is going to struggle. Tuesday, tomorrow, they're in Brazil, Belo Horizonte against Atlético Mineiro. We'll see how that goes, but I can't see them getting a result. I mean, it's simple as that. It's going to be very difficult for them to get a result.
Yeah. It's what we're kind of seeing, obviously, with the distances that they have to travel. I mean, you're thinking of a team down all the way in Argentina, all the way to come to Tijuana to Cholos. I mean, that is a huge distance, and I feel that's the reasons why. Not to give excuses, but flying around, it just doesn't work. Obviously, there's a lot of money in the Libertadores. We keep getting invited. The Conmebol wants us there for the audience and the TV rights. But at the same time, at what point are we risking too much? And it's not happening. The only thing that I can think of is obviously getting to the finals with Chivas, America coming close. But aside from that, Pachuca and the Copa Sudamericana as a winner is the only thing that we've coming out of it. The competition is there, but I feel like the coaches or the players aren't putting that emphasis that we as fans at least kind of want. So kind of see that. But Tom, I know that you have to go. You have some other things that you have to do. So we will, if you want to jump off, say your final thoughts. Give you a couple minutes on what you want to talk about. Any topic, man. This is your time.
Yeah, did you get a puppy recently?
I did. Yeah, I got a puppy. It's called Gizmo.
You get a dog?
Yeah, it looks like a gremlin, so he called it Gizmo.
Oh,
so,
very nice. When did you get that? I didn't get to see it when I was there.
No, I think the day after you left. So.
They waited for you to leave. We saw.
We already have this dog. We're gonna go ahead and make sure that we don't. All right, Tom. Big story for this week so far.
I don't know. I think we've covered most of them. I think that the Chivas one is the big thing. I think you're going to go and talk about Giovani dos Santos. I think his situation is pretty interesting. And I think Hector Herrera, who's the only, I think I'm working it out, the only player from Concacaf who is guaranteed to start in the Champions League in the knockout stages, which I think isn't great at all, to be honest. It's really not good, is it?
That's interesting. I actually didn't think about that looking at the only Herrera. But all right, Tom, always a pleasure. Always fun having you on. Definitely catch Tom and at Mexico World Cup on his Twitter and the many obviously articles he writes for Goal ESPN. Thank you so much, Tom, and we'll see you around, sir.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Cool.
See you, Tom.
See you, Tom.
All right, we'll continue with Mexican Soccer Show, about 10-15 minutes left, and go into the Europeo talks as we talked about from the beginning. How's the chat coming along, guys? How's what's going on in the chat? Let's check it out.
Someone said tacos al pastor, and that kind of got my attention. But
something about someone needs to go on a diet. Fun times on the chat. Obviously, speaks out. Bofo is my angel. Always looking at that. So if you're not on the chat, definitely go in there. And Johnny Rico is on the chat. I don't know if he's on it anymore, but they're making fun of him why he wasn't on the show, and he said that his hair wasn't ready. So always fun. All right, so let's go and talk about the Europeos. First of all, going into it, a little bit of the drama that's going on with Javier Aquino and some kind of tweet, some kind of Instagram. Naib, tell us what's happening with with
Well,
Mr. Aquino
the
himself?
story started with Aquino didn't get called up. He wasn't in the 18-player call-up for the game of Rayo and Athletic in Bilbao. Athletic won 1-0. So because Aquino had a day off, so he went to San Sebastian with his parents and his girlfriend to visit Carlos Vela in San Sebastian. And he put out a tweet, in San Sebastian, #preocupado. So in other words, worried, while the game was on, Athletic and Rayo. Who knows why he put worried as a hashtag? That's something that he will have to explain in a press conference tomorrow in Madrid. But the thing with Aquino is he's played 17 out of 24 games with Rayo, has 981 minutes, but hasn't been able to take advantage of those minutes. Hasn't scored a goal. He has had assists, but those came back in the beginning of the season. Lately, he had been having starts and so forth, but he hasn't been influential on the team and Rayo's, and wins basically. We'll see how will this affect. If this will affect his relationship with Coach Paco Gemes, who seems to be really strict, especially when players, maybe mess up in social media or whatsoever. But we'll see what Aquino says today. Aquino had an interview with Fernando Schwartz, and he basically said that whatever he puts on social media is basically private life, and he doesn't have to explain it. But we'll see how that turns out tomorrow in Madrid.
I think it's foolish for him to think that whatever he posts up on Instagram or Twitter with his thousands of followers, that he thinks that it's private. He's well aware of what he's doing when he's tweeting or sending that stuff out to Instagram, and I think that's just his way of venting. And I think it's not a good sign. Maybe he sees that he's on loan. He sees that it's now the second half of the season. Maybe he just stopped caring, and maybe he's just venting some of that frustration from on the field as well. Because he hasn't done that well, and I thought he would have been a much better player than he has been this season. I thought he was really, really promising with his time with Villarreal, and I thought because of who Rayo Vallecano is, I thought he would have been even better with his time with that club, but he hasn't, and I think it's just him venting his frustration in the worst way possible.
I honestly think that you're looking at, in a very serious note, looking at where he was at with Carlos Vela and his other girlfriend. His hot girlfriend wasn't around anywhere. I didn't see her Instagram over there take the trip with him.
Are you sure it wasn't her? Not that I recognize that girlfriend and have.
No, I don't think it was. I think he's having some girl issues, guys.
Looked up her name. Maybe.
That's why he's a little bit. He's preocupado. it's been to him, guys. No seriousness. Yes, him not being part of the game is alarming. Is something to say that he were worried about. So I think tomorrow we'll see a lot from that press conference. What maybe we won't. He'll probably just say he was messing around, or he's saying that. But it's stupid that he says that his tweets are private or his Instagram's private. You're not private when you're part of especially a team and not only that, the professional level in sports. Please, all the players should already know that. I think there's Twitter clauses and there's all this stuff that the teams already give you anyways. That's part of their contract. So even to say that my life is private on that, I guarantee there's already some kind of contracts that are. They're not. You can't just boast, I hate this team or I hate this player or I hate this coach on a private match. So we'll see what's going on with that. And other news, what else? Europeos, Cesar, you always give us the Europeos on footmexsource.com, the game of the weekend. You follow, obviously, there. Tell me about Teatito. Is he the real deal? Before, everyone's hyping it up. Everyone's going crazy about this. His goals, 8 goals. But you know what? I'm going to go back to one thing that I like that Naive said. And Naive, sorry to put you on the spot. Maybe a couple months back. It feels like that league, it's, I don't know, something about that league I don't know, is it a big feat if you're scoring a lot in that league, Naive? Remember when you said that comment?
No, well, I think it was Jason who said it.
Jason? Was it Jason that said it?
Jason, they look pretty similar, so I can see how.
I thought it was naive that it was like, let's calm down because he's not doing this in a better league, but or the defender. So, but go ahead, Cesar, not to take anything away. Teatito.
Now that I'm thinking about that, I want to give Teatito a huge amount of credit because he's, as we mentioned, multiple times before. He's turned himself around. He wasn't doing that well, over the summer. with the Twente, and now he's doing extremely well. Now, I think now you put it out there. Now he has 9 goals scored total in all competitions this season. So he is by far. You see, he's by far probably. He looks like one of the most like inspired Mexican players out there playing abroad. He's doing a fantastic job over there. But if we are gonna talk about how good the Eredivisie is, one thing that immediately comes to mind is a player like Josie Altidore, who was rocking it. Who was rocking it with I think it was AZ Alkmaar, if I remember correctly.
Yes,
that guy was doing so well and just scoring like crazy. And then he goes to Sunderland, and we know how that goes. Perhaps it could be the same thing. Say I don't know, a mid-table team from the EPL finds Teatito and is like, look at this guy. He's young, he's doing well. Obviously, an inspired player. Could he turn like Josie Altidore? I don't know, but I think in the end, it's nice to see a player scoring at the rate that he has. And at this point, I'm just more than happy with that. I'm just happy with the fact that there's, especially when you see the Chicharitos and the Raul Jimenez out there who, are playing for big clubs but aren't getting a lot of minutes. So it's nice to see a player like that. And perhaps that is the better route for Mexicanos when they're going to try to go abroad. Maybe, to join, a team like Twente, or maybe even like someone like Layun joining like Watford, and that kind of makes you think maybe if that's the better route for players. But anyway, that's a little bit of a tangent there.
No, but just to follow up on what Cesar said in Tecatito season, I mean, the last 2 goals are header goals. So it tells you a little bit of how much he's developing his scoring ability. He's not just scoring with the right foot, left foot. He's actually adding this asset to his game of scoring header goals. What's important about him is that he really knows what he's doing in Twente. I mean, Eredivisie has seen players like Luis Suarez, like Romario, like Ronaldo, and then they take off. I mean, I don't know, it can go either way. It can be a catastrophic ending, well, not really catastrophic, but not a good ending as it has been with Altidore, or it could be a really successful one like Luis Suarez, going to Liverpool and going to Barcelona. I think he's really a player that is seizing the opportunity right now. He's starting, he's an undisputed starter. I don't see him being on the bench, and he's probably going to score more goals in the upcoming months before the summer competitions, and that's good for Mexican football. I mean, he's turning into not only a good midfielder, but a good forward in general.
You can say it's disastrous that what happened with Josie Altidore, so it's okay, man.
You never know.
I'd play for Sunderland. I don't care. Even if I never scored, that'd be awesome. I'd do that.
Funny. We'll play anywhere, man. You put me in the Chorrillo, I am there. As long as I am part of that as a professional player, then I can get some money a la Aguirre. Dun, dun, dun. All right. You wrote an interesting piece on Gio Naib, on what's going on, obviously, in his minutes. A lot of people, I mean, especially in the press, saying, where's Gio going? Obviously, Jonathan Dos Santos having a great year so far, obviously, with coming back from injury and getting the minutes. But what can you tell us about Gio, man?
I think, it's kind of playing a circle, sort of, with Gio, because, I've written a lot of times that I think it's important for him to get a goal, at least in La Liga, or like it was the case a while ago in the Copa del Rey. He got it against Real Sociedad. He got a good assist this weekend with Villarreal, again, a good assist to Vieta in that game against Eibar. The problem with Gio is that he hasn't been scoring. I think that's what kind of hinders him when it comes on deciding which 2 forwards Marcelino Garcia Toral is going to pick. Is he going to go with Vieto and Nuche, or is he going to go with Vieto and Giovani? Vieto will start all the important games from now till the end of the season. And Gio is still not that important player because he hasn't scored those key goals. It could happen that all of a sudden this Thursday or next weekend against Real Madrid and Santiago Bernabeu, that he scores the goal. He scored a wondrous free kick goal last year at Santiago Bernabeu, Giovani. At that point, Giovani was the best forward for Villarreal. Nowadays, the best forward in Villarreal is Luciano Vieto at only 21 years old. So we're talking about different times in Villarreal, but at least he's playing, and is one of the forwards that, he's having playing time, contrary to the case of Raul Jimenez and Chicharito, who barely play. So it's good for Mexico to have a forward that's actually playing every 3 days, because Villarreal is still alive in the Europa League.
That is correct.
And what's hard for Villarreal too is that you know that they recognize how important Giovani dos Santos is to the club. But even when he has been scoring and he has been getting every single start, they've been doing very, very well this season. They've been doing actually really, really well, and I think they had some ridiculous run of it was like 15 games without a loss. Even without Giovani, scoring goals for the team. So it must be hard when, like I said, just when they recognize how important he is, but that they've done so well at the same time.
Yeah. I tweeted out an interesting. I thought it was in the 20s, that streak of how many games they've lost, or the last time they lost was in December, I think 17. I think it was when Gio came back and he started the game. Was it Barcelona or was it Real Madrid? I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. The one that he just started recently.
No, he started the Barcelona game in
Barcelona,
League,
right?
And also in Copa del Rey.
Yeah. So he started the Barcelona game in the league, and obviously I tweeted out that the last time Gio started was the last time they lost in December, and then Gio started again and they lost again, and I got a lot of backlash on Twitter. So yeah, we're looking at what's going on. The good thing is it's such a surprise on how well that team, and even having Campbell in there, and now obviously playing more, I think, on the Jonathan dos Santos. A lot of people thinking that they was going in there, so I think it's exciting, especially with the two brothers that are there. And just like you said, he just needs that goal, and he's having amazing runs. And every time, I think he's part of the offense. I think that's why his coach is still there. He might not be scoring, but he sees those assists, those runs. He's always lethal when he has the ball, especially coming from that counter that they like to play when they're playing the bigger team. So we'll see what's going on. I know that Raúl Jiménez is going to make the trip to Germany for the game. Don't know if he's actually going to see any playing time.
Yeah,
probably not. Obviously, probably not. And obviously, also Teatito will be looking for that. But anything else on the Europeo talk? Cesar and Naib.
Just glad. I'm just glad that Moreno, Hector Moreno, is getting more minutes with Espanyol. At this point, I don't care how he plays. The fact that he's getting regular minutes, that there's no injuries reoccurring for him, that's what makes me happy. It makes me a little bit more comfortable going into the summer, knowing that Moreno will be ready for us. I think that's an important thing to note as well.
Yes.
Yeah, man, and just a little bit on the follow-up, there was an interview with SoFoot.com, a magazine in France. They interviewed Carlos Kameni, and Carlos Kameni basically said that since the second week of games in Spain, Ochoa hasn't even said hi to him, to Carlos Kameni. So, I mean, this situation of Ochoa and Kameni battling for that starting spot that Kameni already has, I kind of do wait for a miracle. Maybe one of the last games of the season, Ochoa does get at least one game to play or so forth. But it's important for Ochoa to play. I mean, he'll probably only play the friendly games in March. And then if Gracia is not even using Ochoa, why maybe he could end up playing in the Alamondo game in San Antonio, ask for special permission, the Federation to Malaga, and to get him some minutes maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be. I didn't even think about that. I'm sorry, even though I'm a Barca fan, but when Malaga beat Barcelona, I wasn't happy. That means that I would like Barcelona to score 9 goals, so they can. So the more that Malaga wins, the less chance Memo's gonna have to play, I think. So I wasn't very happy. I was like, man, they had to lose. Not only because I like Barcelona, but it was funny to feel that way. And I'm sure a lot of you guys fans are making sure that the players that on those teams either do bad, so obviously our players start taking it. It's a fun way to look at football in Europe. You don't want the teams to win; you just want the player to do better. But we carry those shirts.
It's awful though, because I'm generally a nice person though, but when you think about stuff like Ochoa, I get the most absurd thoughts. Man, if Kameni broke his leg, that means Ochoa would start playing, right? Yeah, I get these most absurd, ridiculous, awful, morbid thoughts.
No, that's just how it is, man. If we all of a sudden, we see a tweet, Kameni breaks leg. The first thing is wow, horrible, what a tragedy. And they'll be like, yes, sorry, Kameni.
It's awful.
It's a horrible feeling. It's like when your kid's gonna get, I don't know, if my child is playing and all of a sudden he gets that. You're going to be happy for him. He's got the opportunity. You're not happy because of why it happened. You're just happy that it's there. I understand, fans. Don't worry. We're not, hopefully the Kamenians family aren't watching this show.
I doubt they.
But we don't wish ill. You never know. Anyways, anything else, guys? We will be having our top 25. Always fun. It's at the end of the month. If you're following on foodmexsource.com, Cesar does an amazing job of getting all of us together and trying to find out the top 25. Lots of drama. That's every time it comes out. How is Layun up there? How is Rafa? Teatito? What is Cubo Torres obviously there, and it's a lot of fun. We're gonna have a special a show just dedicated to the top 25, inviting everybody, making sure you're on. So stay tuned on that, but it's gonna be coming up. Guys, it's always a pleasure to have the Mexican Soccer Show and be a part of it on Mondays. We'll continue this on Mondays. For whatever reason, I know Cesar, thank you so much for joining in and hosting it, but it was definitely a lot of fun. Cesar, last words, man. What up?
Last words. Big shout out to Birdman. That was I may have I may have had a pint too many last night at the bar when I was watching, and I might have yelled Mexico a little too much every time Birdman won something, but it was awesome.
Yes. I'm a huge. I've been watching the Oscars since I can remember with my family. We throw a big Oscar party. I love movies. I love that it is. Yeah. I've been wanting González Iñárritu to win since Amores Perros. 21 Grams, Babel, looking into that. I saw all the movies, all the nominations. All of them were awesome, and I actually got every single one of the top honors perfect. On my little pool. It was definitely good. And I took it just because of Alejandro González Iñárritu. So great to see that. I tweeted out, and I know this is nothing against soccer. Obviously, there's the green card comment. I know from a lot of history. What's his face? The guy that said the green card comment. They're really good friends with Alejandro González Iñárritu. I think he was misspoken, but a lot of drama. Obviously, great for that in Mexico. I tweeted out. I don't know if they went to the Ángel de Independencia. I mean, to go celebrate, I would think. I also tweeted out that since Cuarón got it last year, and this year that's the bicampeonato for the Oscars for the director. So that's awesome. All we need is the other director.
Del Toro.
Yeah, Del Toro to win next year. Bam, dude, we have a monopoly of the directors in that. But it was a fun time yesterday, especially with the message that was shared. So always fun to see that. Naive, any last words, sir?
Well, we'll see. We'll follow up the story with Cubo Torres and see if in fact he will arrive early to Houston. I saw a Houston Dynamo game versus Charleston Battery, a USL team.
Battery?
They lost 1-0.
Yeah.
Battery, yeah, Charleston Battery.
Like Battery?
Battery, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yes. I mean, I will be doing a lot of Dynamo stuff this season over here in Houston, and it will be they need Cubo. I think Cubo needs Dynamo, and Dynamo needs Cubo as soon as possible, based on what I saw this weekend with the Dynamo.
Good to see. All right, guys. Well, this has been another edition of the Mexican Soccer Show. Please follow us. We have a Facebook page. Johnny does an amazing job of running that. We also have Twitter on Mexican Soccer Show. You can obviously reach Cesar at Cesar. What's your Twitter name? You change it.
Just hit myself in the face. Sorry. It's Cesar H Football.
Okay.
Because it used to be Cesar H 1030, but it just kind of reminded me of an AOL screen name every time I looked at it. So I just thought might as well make it a little bit more professional. So Cesar H Football,
Yeah, you just be honest. You didn't want everybody knowing your birthday. All right, Naive, you're at Naive Moran, right? Correct?
Yeah, correct, Luis.
Perfect. Obviously, he has a great blog on De Lejitos. Definitely take a chance to read that. It's awesome. A lot of information. And you can reach me at Wiso Vasquez. That's 2 Z's, VAZQEZ, or at foodmexsource.com. Obviously, reaching out a lot of different news sites that we have. So it's awesome to all come together, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, Cesar and Naive and Tom, who had to leave. But see you guys next week with another Mexican Soccer Show. Have a great week.
Thanks.